Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sana. As I promised to myself, I started keeping TBRs at the beginning of each month as a way of strategically bringing back reading into my life and keeping it consistent but also sustainable. Trying to navigate university and just general life stuff, I noticed very quickly that I would put reading and writing on the back burner, and what that would do is I would not realize how much time has passed, and it's really difficult to get back into writing and reading once you've put it off for too long. January for me has been very busy in terms of travel, and so February has really been that month of 2025 so far that I've been able to return to some kind of routine of sorts. Back when I was a teenager, I would read a lot online through my phone, and I was really active on Wattpad back then as well, and so reading just was really easy at that time. But over time, I stopped reading completely, and that was terrible. But eventually, what I did is I started thrifting books, and I slowly tried to build up that habit again. I also wear glasses, so that was always an issue for me because reading on my phone would just hurt my eyes, and it made no difference to me if I was reading on my tab either. I tried audiobooks, but I'm not someone who really enjoys audiobooks. I know that there's so many people who do, and that's great. I wish I was that person because it would make my life so much more easier, but I'm just not an audiobook person. And so I noticed that I was spending a lot of time on my phone regardless because I was on Instagram, doom scrolling, and that's not helping anybody. So what I've been trying to do is bringing back online reading and fixing it into that time slot that I would be spending on Instagram, because I do end up on my phone. It's just part of my life at the moment, and I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to reduce that. But for now, it seems like it's working because I found out recently about a platform. It's called Everand, and they basically provide books for you to read, ebooks, and you can read them on your phone, on your tablet, or even on their website through your laptop, for example. And so I joined their website because they were providing a month's free subscription. I'm a huge fan of free subscriptions, so if that lets me explore the platform before, deciding if I want to subscribe. So I joined Everand and I began scrolling. I was on my laptop at the time, and I put it away just because I wasn't too sure about it. But then later that night, I was scrolling on my phone and I was like, nope, this needs to change. And what I did is I downloaded the app on my phone, because who's going to be reading on their laptop. I looked into the genres that I'm typically interested in, like paranormal or thriller and that kind of stuff. After some browsing, I found a book just based on the synopsis of it, of the summary. I found it really interesting, and I had never heard of the book nor the author. And I started reading, and funnily enough, I'm not sure how this helps with my screen time, but 18 hours later, I was done with the book. I completed it, and I felt so pleased with myself because I had not gone into the book thinking I was going to finish it. I just wanted to waste some time. So the book was called The Insomniacs by Marit Weisenberg. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but if not, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's the book I picked, and just based on the summary, I thought it was going to be a short read, a light read. In fact, it was a very suspenseful mystery, and even though it was young adult, I had a blast reading it. I had so much fun reading that book. And just to give you an idea of what the book was about, it's about these two teenagers who live on the same street, and there's some things going on in this abandoned house on the same street that they live on, and so both of them kind of pair up to figure out what's happening. And it's a twisty kind of book. I wouldn't say it was full of plot twists that you won't see coming. A couple of them were okay, but there were some plot twists toward the end that I did not see coming. If you're someone who's good at predicting these things, then I'm not sure how that book will go for you. I'm not a fan of rating books just because they're so subjective. You might enjoy it, you might not. I don't know. You never know how a reader will connect with the book. So I'll leave that up to you if you decide to read it. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it to people who enjoy twisty books with YA elements, and also just suspense overall. It's nothing too crazy. And yeah, I enjoyed it. The second book that I picked up was actually a book I picked up at a book fair in Pakistan. And it's this one. It's a title that everyone has probably seen just because I've seen it all over social media. I think this is the second book to another, not necessarily the same topic. And so I picked it up, frankly, because of the cover and also because I'd seen it online. So I figured it might, actually be a good one. I have some thoughts. I'm sure this is not a new book, so there's a chance that you've already read it. However, it's, in my personal opinion, it was difficult to get into, and probably because I didn't really know what I was getting into. However, very quickly, I did begin to like it because of the explanation of the feeling brain and the thinking brain. I think that's what he calls them. He talks a lot about those two sides of the brain, and it was something I could relate to at the time, and I was going through some mental analysis of life in general and decisions to be made. And so I liked that. I liked that he was not only giving an analysis of what I was going through at the time and what I was really, really aware of, I also liked that he was giving solutions to what I was going through. And so it was nice to have someone justify and say, that exists, that's just human nature, and that's how we're all wired. So that was kind of therapeutic in its own way. But yeah, it was nice. That part was nice. But I got to the middle of it, which you can see by the bookmark. It begins to dissect hope as a concept and, kind of talk about, the bricks of what makes hope. And it kind of navigates, it kind of like it goes off the road in the sense of talking about religion and ideology and how these are like driving forces of why the world has always done these horrible things, or why humans have done these horrible things. And very quickly it does become kind of serious. It just felt really two-dimensional. That discussion felt two-dimensional. And so I didn't appreciate having the book now speak at me instead of to me, if that makes sense. Again, I haven't finished the book. It might take a turn just because the first portion of the book was nice. I liked it. It was beneficial. It was useful. It was fun to read. But the middle, it has kind of got me thinking if I should finish the rest of the book. So if you're someone who's finished the book and you might share similar views, please let me know if it's worth finishing. I spent a lot of time reading this and I was really disappointed to see that it was only half of the book. So I don't know what that says about my reading speed, but I don't want to spend more time on it if it's just going to get worse for me. So there it is. That's the second book of this month. Other than that, I have a couple of books that I have my eye on and I will be reading them on Everand. There's a week left of February and my plan is to read all of them. I don't know how that's going to happen unless I'm sleeping like 2 hours a night, but I might just be able to do it. So for the remainder of this month, I will be reading on Everand just because I feel so inspired to. I've collected a few titles that have piqued my interest, and one of them is The September House. It has been on my TBR for over a year because I remember seeing a post about it on Instagram. And first of all, the cover is so gorgeous. I saved it and I was never able to find it at, the thrift stores that I have visited. And I wasn't gonna, pay full price for the book because I wasn't too sure that, if I was gonna like it. And I'm not a fan of buying new unless it's a book that I really, really desperately want to read. Even then, I'm still gonna take my chances at the thrift store. So that's the first book I'll be reading. I have it saved. When I was choosing which package to buy or purchase for the month, I decided to go with the one that gives me 3 unlocks for the month. And so, it's free, so, why not? I I have decided that I'm going to spend my second unlock on this book, The September House. I'm still not sure about the third because there are a couple of titles that they have provided unlimited. And so when you look at Everand as a platform, what they do is they have some that you need to unlock and the others you can just access for free, and you don't need to spend your limited unlocks on them. After that, I'll probably be reading The Happiness Makeover by MJ Ryan. I think that's the name of the author. And after that, there's another book I'm kind of interested in. It's called Vampires, Hearts, and Other Dead Things. It's the title that got me. I haven't really gone into it. But what Everand lets you do is you are able to access the preview of the book. So I think it was this book that lets me read like the first 4 or 6 chapters, which is a lot in my opinion. And it'll give me a fair idea of if I want to spend my unlock on that book. So that's great. And there's a third book, which again, I'm not sure if I'll be able to complete it before February ends, but I hope I will. It's called The Violent Season by Sarah Walters. And that's another book that I'd seen on Instagram. I follow a couple of people who post thrillers and that kind of stuff, book reviews, and again, I'm such a sucker for good book covers, so that's what my plan is for the rest of the month. I know I'm going to feel so accomplished with just finishing this TBR because February has been off to a slow start, and I don't even consider January. It feels like January didn't even happen. I know a lot of people have been complaining that January has been such a long month for them, but for me it's been like dissected in, into 2 parts. I was traveling, and then God knows what happened to the rest of the month. But that was my birthday month as well, so that could be a reason. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be making this video. I'm excited to be reading these books. And yeah, 2025 is pretty exciting so far. I don't know why I said it like that. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.